The scene begins with the Star Dragon taking a step forward and finally voicing what he calls a selfish plea. He wants rebirth. He wants to live another life from the beginning, and he doesn't even try to dress it up, admitting outright that he's shamelessly asking for such a favor. Murong Head by Aiden responds on the spot, his expression full of doubt as he questions whether something like reincarnation can even exist at all, and at the same time Murong is visibly stunned, turning toward the Star Dragon and pressing him hard. If the Star Ancestor truly had a way to do this, then why had it never been mentioned before? Unhurried, the Star Dragon explains that he was never trying to conceal anything. He says that to repay the Murong family he really did want to keep living, but the path to rebirth is so cruel and so difficult that it's nearly impossible to accomplish. And as he speaks, the hot dragon girl angles her eyes toward him, watching every word with clear attention. The Star Dragon continues, saying that the moment he saw both the Star Dragon and the Evelyn Dragon staying at Mr. Liu's side, he immediately understood something. Mr. Liu would definitely be able to make it work. And at that, the boy shoots the Star Dragon a sharp glare while thinking it through for himself. A method that lets dragonkind be reborn actually requires an Evelyn Dragon and a Star Dragon working in tandem. Now that his interest is fully hooked, the boy speaks up, saying his curiosity has been completely awakened, and he tells the Star Dragon to lay it all out in detail. So the Star Dragon starts with the Elemental Dragon's Dragon Domain, explaining that it's a domain expansion skill. Yet most people miss the most important point, because Dragon Domain isn't merely a technique at all. It's a genuine realm that truly exists, a space that belongs to the dragon race itself. Right then, a screen appears with clear, detailed information. Dragon Domain deploys a 100-meter diameter domain. Allied dragons and blood-related entities gain a 50% increase to all stats. Non-dragon enemies suffer a 50% decrease to all stats and cannot enter or leave the domain through movement, teleportation, or summoning. Building on that, the Star Dragon explains that this ability directly anchors the Dragon Domain to the real world. And then he brings up another power, saying that the Star Dragon's Star Shuttle can tear open the boundary of that connection. Another screen flashes into view. Star Shuttle rips space apart and forms a portal rift leading to a designated target location. The portal remains for 60 seconds and is completely unaffected by formations or forbidden spells. The Star Dragon goes on to say that by passing through this rift, one can step into the true Dragon Domain, and hearing that, someone cuts in, confused, asking if that means that by combining their powers they can enter a space that truly belongs to dragons, almost like an entirely different world. Only for that assumption to be immediately corrected, because Star Shuttle can travel only to a designated target location. So it isn't nearly that simple. The boy immediately raises another problem, pointing out that Xingqian has never once set foot in the true Dragon Domain. So how could she possibly open a rift to a place she's never even been to? The Star Dragon answers without dodging it. Right now, she can't. But once she reaches the Dragon King rank, Star Shuttle will evolve to the point where it can rip through any domain space at all, including the true Dragon Domain itself. Then he finally lays out the core of the plan. Inside the true Dragon Domain, as long as his life-condensed origin is handed over to her, to the mother of all dragonkind, she will be able to nurture him anew and grant him rebirth. The boy immediately asks whether she really is the mother of all dragonkind, and the Star Dragon simply nods and confirms it. Yes, she is the Life Dragon King, the root of all creation itself. The moment those words land, Chen Dragon reacts on the spot, repeating, Life Dragon King, and then breaking into laughter, clearly entertained by how interesting and amusing the situation has become. At the same time, the boy stands frozen in shock as his thoughts collide into sudden clarity. This means the blood-stained seed of the flying dragon divine tree has to be delivered to her. That's the key, and only then can she reclaim victory over the true Dragon Domain. Not long after, Bai steps forward with sincere urgency and speaks to Mr. Liu, begging on behalf of the Murong family that if he is willing to let the Star Ancestor be reborn, he will grant his agreement. Murong follows instantly, without a trace of hesitation, declaring that as long as the Star Ancestor remains, the Murong family remains as well. They swear to serve Brother Liu and the Yi family for generations, through fire and water, and ask him to accept their loyalty. The boy draws in a deep breath before he answers, explaining that it isn't that he refuses at all. He also wants to find the Life Dragon King. But Xingqian is only level 64, still far from the Dragon King rank, and with her current strength Star Shuttle simply isn't powerful enough to reach the Dragon Domain. The Star Ancestor responds in a calm voice and tells them not to worry, saying she can transfer what remains of her power into the young Star Dragon, and at the very least, that will directly push one of Xingqian's skills up to the Dragon King rank. The boy stares, stunned, and asks if something like that is truly possible, while Bai immediately voices the fear hanging over everyone. If the Star Ancestor gives up her remaining power, will she fall asleep again? The Star Ancestor answers plainly, yes, she will. Murong steps forward at once and declares that if that's the case, then the Murong family will continue to guard the Star Ancestor until Brother Liu returns from the Dragon Domain. The boy nods with firm resolve, and since Brother Morong has that much faith in him, he tells Xingqian to begin. Xingqian shoots into the air at once, wings spreading wide as she turns toward the star ancestor dragon, and in the next instant energy surges outward to flood the surroundings while a powerful dragon roar rolls through the air. The star ancestor immediately guides Xingqian, explaining that a star dragon's body is nothing more than a container for spatial power, and telling her to sense the galaxy contained within her own body, then accept the strength being given to her. In that instant, a screen pops up showing the star shuttle skill, describing how it tears space apart to form a portal rift to a target location, how the portal lasts 60 seconds, and how it remains unaffected by formations. Not long after, the star ancestor speaks again and announces that the young star dragon has now obtained a star shuttle capable of breaking through all domains. Vi rushes in, calling out to the star ancestor, but before she can even reach her, the star ancestor crumples to the ground, and blue energy spills from her body, spreading outward in a flawless circle as it slowly takes shape into a crystal ring. With a weak voice, the star dragon tells them to carry her essence and go find that mother, saying the Life Dragon King will surely be grateful. A new item appears right then. Star Dragon Essence. Legendary quality. Described as the essence of the star ancestor dragon, retaining unconsciousness to differentiate and verify the core of a star dragon. The energy keeps compressing until it finally solidifies into a complete star essence. And through that essence, the star ancestor explains that she can still communicate with them this way, though she will soon sink into a deep slumber. Another system notification flashes to confirm the reward. Obtain Star Dragon Essence Core X1. With what little strength she has left, the star ancestor entrusts everything to them and urges the dragon tamer to go. The boy clenches his fist hard, determination etched across his face as he answers with confident certainty that there's no problem, and with that Xiao Fei and Xingqian ready themselves to head toward the dragon domain, prompting an immediate quest notification. Quest name: Rebirth to the Star. Giant Dragon Quest description: the starry giant dragon bound to the western borders of the Murong family is nearing the end of its life, and as an offspring of the Life Dragon King, the root of all things, it wishes to return its essence to its mother for rebirth. After that, Xingqian stands planted in place, posture steady, confidence obvious, her appearance striking as she holds herself ready. The scene then cuts to the quiet courtyard of the Murong mansion, where Murong tells Brother Lu that the area has already been cleared and that no one will be affected by the skill. As Xiaofei lifts into the sky, the boy nods and gives the signal to start, and she immediately shoots upward. While they rise, uneasy thoughts creep into the boy's mind as he recalls how the devouring Demon Dragon King once tried to devour the Life Dragon King, how no one knows exactly when she vanished, and how that uncertainty gnaws at him until he begins to suspect she may still be plotting something even now. Another system screen appears. The dragon domain is deployed, and within a 100-meter radius allied dragons and blood-altered entities gain 50% to all stats, while non-dragon entities take a 50% reduction. Soon after, Xiaofei steps into a land utterly blanketed in flames, and Murong stares around in stunned amazement, unable to hide how shaken he is, because this is the dragon domain, an ability so incredible it leaves him speechless. The boy doesn't waste a second, telling Xingqian to unleash her newly empowered star shuttle, and she answers immediately, fanning out the star dragon's 3 forms as brilliant starlight spills in every direction, echoing and resonating with the star ancestor. The system display flashes star shuttle again. Space is ripped apart. A portal rift forms toward a distant target location. The portal remains for 60 seconds, and it is completely unaffected by formations or forbidden spells. The boy glances back just long enough to tell his brother to move on and wait for good news, and Murong responds with open excitement, saying they'll be waiting for his triumphant return. Then, as they surge forward, the boy orders Xiaofei and Xingqian stay tight behind him and follow closely. The scene shifts again into the true dragon domain, where Dragon Head Peak rises in front of them, the entire land swallowed by fire. The boy stares across the endless expanse in awe, realizing this is the true dragon domain, far beyond anything he pictured, so alien and immense that it feels like crossing into a completely different world. Now at Dragon Head Peak inside the dragon domain, the star essence speaks with steady calm, saying this is the world that truly belongs to dragons, that they're standing at Dragon Head Peak, and that Life Canyon, where Mother resides, is not far from here. The boy answers at once, saying if that's the case, there's no point stopping to camp midway, and he proposes they push straight through in a single continuous run. The star essence hesitates, then speaks again with a note of confusion, because something feels off. This place used to be crowded with dragons cutting through the skies, yet now there isn't even one to be seen, and in the dragon domain, even the weakest dragons are usually around level 150, with different regions each ruled by different dragon kings. She admits she's been gone far too long, and in her memory, there were once 11 dragon kings here, and no matter what happens she warns him, never to trespass into their forbidden zones. Hearing that, The boy repeats it to himself. 11 Dragon Kings, each above level 150, and the thought alone crushes down on him with its weight, to the point that for a brief moment he imagines what it would be like to tame them all, only to instantly shut the fantasy down, because even thinking it feels impossible. Just then, the star essence speaks again and announces that they've arrived. The scene cuts to the gate of Life Canyon within the dragon domain, and the star essence explains that beyond this gate is Mother herself. The boy studies the structure in silent admiration, because the stone gate is enormous and majestic, even more imposing than he expected. Yet when he and all his companions come to a firm stop before it, he spots the problem immediately. The gate is completely sealed, and he can't help wondering how he's supposed to enter it all. At that moment, the star essence dragon suddenly blazes with light, her radiance spreading across the sky as she tells him to leave it to her. Her essence is the key, and once the gate senses her presence, it will open. But she also makes it clear that the instant this happens, she will no longer be able to communicate with him. A system notification flashes up, showing that the star dragon essence core has been used. The essence sinks down and finally touches the gate, and the star essence dragon speaks for the last time, telling him that from this moment forward, he's on his own. The boy's heart tightens, because at last he's about to meet the Life Dragon King. The enormous stone doors begin to part, inch by inch, and as the boy and his companions hold their ground before the entrance, all three of them go rigid, staring straight ahead without moving. Disbelief crashes over him. How can this be? He looks deeper into Life Canyon within the dragon domain, and his face darkens, because the canyon is corroded and wrecked, and there isn't even the faintest trace of vitality left inside it. This is supposed to be Life Canyon, yet what lies before them has nothing to do with life at all. Around him, his comrades start speaking up at the same time, and the boy cuts through it by giving a quick order, telling everyone to follow him and move deeper in the canyon first. But as he advances, something erupts without warning. Purple energy bursts from nowhere and strikes straight at him, catching him completely off guard, and almost immediately a screen appears with information about a strange entity. Straight Dragon 3 form, switch Galaxy. Emerald Dragon 3 form, switch Eternal One. The boy instantly understands what it is and shouts that it's an ambush, ordering everyone to get ready for battle, as Xingqian snaps in her dragon form, and Xiao Fei also shifts, swelling into a towering giant dragon. And together they turn to face the purple, liquid-like dragon shape ahead. Xiao Fei releases surging waves of green energy, scattering it across the area, to push back the advancing purple flow, and another system screen appears to explain eternal protection. It generates a protective barrier that covers all targets beneath it, with the barrier's damage absorption determined by the Eternal One's HP and its self-regeneration ability. Then, still in her dragon form, she lifts her hand and unleashes a massive white light that floods the surroundings with blinding brightness, while heavy power ripples outward in every direction, and a new screen appears showing Starfall. Within the region covered by the galaxy, starlight continuously rains down from above. Other skills can still be used during Starfall, and its effects last indefinitely until the skill is cancelled. The boy locks a sharp, icy stare onto the purple fluid, and when it turns toward him, he roars out a command, telling the weaklings to be gone, as a screen pops up to explain the ability. Weaklings Be Gone releases Draconic Killing Intent, dealing defense-ignoring area damage that kills nearby enemies and knocks them back. With Starfall pouring down and spreading over the battlefield, the purple fluid starts to splinter and crumble under the impact, while Xiao Fei and Xiao Chun keep pouring out their energy, striking without pause and erasing huge swaths of the purple flow, and the boy stands firm at the front watching it all, thinking that maybe, finally, it's over. But then something immediately feels off, because the purple fluid doesn't truly vanish at all. It slumps onto the ground and writhes, twisting to shapes like reptilian creatures or animals, and the boy's expression shifts as a chilling realization hits him. It isn't dead yet. He forces himself to make sense of what he's seeing, mind flashing with the impossible question of how this could even happen, because the entity can't be appraised at all, and he can only wonder whether this corruption is tied to some ancient god, or whether these things aren't living creatures in the first place, until a system message appears to shut it down cold. Appraisal is restricted. At the same time, Xiao Chun is still in flight when another burst of purple energy suddenly lashes out and attacks again, and the boy finally grasps the truth in a single, grim instant. These things can't be killed, and dragging the fight out any longer isn't an option. Without warning, a huge wave of purple fluid slams down directly in front of him, and the boy shouts for everyone to dodge as the purple substance spreads at terrifying speed, swelling outward and grabbing at everything nearby, trying to drag them into its mass. He yells for everyone to stop wasting time fighting and push deeper into the canyon, and he and all his comrades immediately launch into the air. But as they fly, his thoughts only grow darker, because even the Life Dragon King's own domain has become like this, and he can't stop himself from wondering if the Life Dragon King is already dead. Some of his comrades shout something urgent, and the boy snaps back, quickly demanding that Xiao Fei tell him what's going on. Yet before he can get a clear answer, the purple liquid erupts again, He sees it now. The corrupted entities are clustering together, gathering into thicker masses as they surge forward and rapidly close the distance. And he shouts for everyone to speed up and shake them off while he and his comrades pour out their energy, trying to blast the purple fluid away from their bodies. He drives a powerful steel punch straight into the purple mass, thoughts racing as he notices they're getting faster. And with no other choice left, he activates another skill, switching his dragon taming aura into Dark Blade mode. A portion of the purple fluid finally peels away, and he and his companions keep flying as another system screen appears to confirm what he's done. Dragon Taming Aura. Shadow Dragon King form activates. The Shadow Dragon King bloodline awakens, granting a massive aura boost, 300% increased speed, and shadow stealth. Under the influence of the Dragon Shadow Aura, Shadow Stealth lets them enter or exit stealth whenever they want, and their stealth won't be broken by detection or even by taking damage. As he flies, the boy tells himself this should finally be enough to shake off those unknown corruptions. But only moments later, while he and his comrades struggle to scrape and wipe the purple fluid from their bodies, his frustration boils over. Even at triple speed, the corrupted entities are still matching them. They can't be killed, and they can't be escaped easily either, and he grits his teeth, wondering if there's truly no way out at all. Then his eyes snap wide, because a vast wall of fire erupts directly in front of their path, abruptly sealing off their escape. The scene opens inside an enormous wall of raging fire, flames burning without end as they surge outward in every direction. And while the boy and his comrades force their way through that inferno, unease tightens in his chest because something is deeply wrong. This fire feels downright insane, far more outrageous than even Xiaoye's cataclysm. Before he can fully piece that feeling together, a violent surge of liquid purple corruption suddenly punches through the flames and spreads straight into the fire itself. And the sight shocks him to the core, because this shouldn't be possible. A system message appears at once. Shadow Stealth has been deactivated. The boy reacts instantly by activating Steel Shield, and as he watches what happens next, his eyes widen with disbelief. The fire is actually suppressing the unknown corruption, forcing the purple substance to weaken and recoil under the pressure of the flames. Right then, a gigantic dragon with terrifying, oversized teeth speaks from within the blaze, stating flatly that corruption cannot be killed and can only be suppressed for a time. The boy snaps his gaze toward the source of the voice in shock, but the dragon continues without pause, questioning him. How does a mere human step into the dragon domain? And with two young dragons at his side, who exactly is he? A system screen immediately identifies the creature, Flame Colossus Dragon, a root-winged dragon. The boy holds his ground, gripping the star essence tightly in his hand as he introduces himself as a dragon tamer, explaining that he has two critical tasks that must be delivered to the Life Dragon King, and that one of those tasks concerns the life of a dragon living outside this domain. Another system screen appears, displaying the Star Dragon Essence Core, legendary quality, explaining that it is the remaining essence of the Star Sky Dragon, that it still contains its consciousness, and that it is used to differentiate and verify a dragon's core identity. The giant dragon reacts the instant it senses it, roaring in surprise as recognition flashes through its tone. This is true dragon origin energy from the Life Canyon, and it acknowledges that the boy really is a dragon tamer, though it admits it never believed such an offensive profession could still exist in the world beyond the dragon domain. The boy doesn't waste a breath on anything else, immediately demanding to know what happened here and where he can find the Life Dragon King. The fire-shrouded dragon answers with stern authority, ordering him to calm down because this place isn't safe, because corruption could strike again at any moment, and telling them to follow it first. The boy hesitates just long enough to weigh it, then chooses to trust the dragon, leading his comrades after the massive creature as it guides them across the burning landscape. When they finally reach a particular spot, the boy looks around in surprise and asks what this place is. The black dragon explains that this is a small secret realm constructed by Mother herself, a place known as the dream space of the Life Canyon. Then another dragon, still wreathed in fire, speaks with visible fury, declaring that Life Canyon has already been completely corrupted, that it's uninhabitable, and that this place is their last sanctuary. A voice follows, saying the area is filled with dragon remains, and demanding to know what in the world has happened to the dragon domain. Before anyone can take another step, a dragon entirely shrouded in raging flames strides forward and forcefully orders them to stop right there, and as it moves, the heat rolling off its body surges violently. A second voice cuts in just as sharply, also shouting for them to stop. But this time it comes from a white dragon whose fury is plain to see as it angrily accuses the fire dragon of bringing a dragon tamer before Mother, saying he's truly gone mad. And this one is identified as the Bronze Colossus Dragon, a root-winged dragon. Another dragon speaks next, its body still burning with fire, accusing them of betrayal. Allowing an outsider to learn of this place is a betrayal of Mother herself. A system screen appears, identifying yet another presence as the Cloudflow Dragon, Also, a root-winged dragon. The bronze dragon immediately declares that the outsider must be killed, and that Mother must be defended to the death. And it's revealed that this dragon is a twin-headed dragon, another root-winged dragon. But the dragon engulfed in flames roars back in anger, insisting he isn't betraying her at all, explaining that this dragon Tamer was entrusted by a dragon from outside the domain to find Mother, that he has earned that dragon's trust, and that he is an ally. The cloud flow dragon freezes in shock at that, blurting out the question, there's still a dragon outside the domain, and there are still brothers and sisters out there who remember them? At that moment, the boy steps forward, a softly glowing crystal in his hand, the star essence, and he explains that it belongs to a star dragon nearing the end of its lifespan, and that dragon believes the life dragon, King, surely has a way to grant it rebirth. A system screen appears again, displaying the star dragon essence core. The instant those words leave his mouth, an uncanny reaction ripples through the space itself as the rebirth of the dragon begins to resonate faintly, stunning everyone present, until someone speaks up to say that such a rebirth requires a seed of life to be accomplished, and the boy and all his comrades jolt at that revelation. Then an unknown presence finally reveals itself as layers of white roots unfurl outward, and a calm yet crushing voice speaks, saying it recognizes every one of its children, including the essence held in the dragon tamer's hand, and that from this moment onward, he is one of them. This presence is revealed as the Life Dragon King, the root of all things. A system notification appears, updating the quest. Quest name, Rebirth of the Star Giant Dragon. Objective update, delivers Star Dragon Essence Core 1 by 1 to the Life Dragon King, root of all things. Progress, 0. Reward, obtain Life Seed. At that very moment, Xingqian suddenly laughs, saying she has finally found her at last, and without a hint of hesitation, she rushes toward the Life Dragon King, while dense purple energy begins to circulate around her body. She declares that the Life Dragon King's power belongs to her, then bursts into laughter as she reminds them that she warned this would happen. Xingqian suddenly freezes, caught off guard, as the boy steps forward and firmly tells her he won't allow her to block his path. She shrieks back in fury, ordering him to move aside and warning that if he refuses, she'll devour him too. The boy answers with steady calm, asking whether she truly intends to break their contract, reminding her that as long as the contract remains, if he dies, then she dies right along with him. He tightens his grip on the flames, resolve unmistakable as he declares that the Life Dragon King is essential to all dragonkind, and that he will never permit her to be harmed. Then he challenges her head-on. If she wants mutual destruction, then come. She clicks her tongue in irritation, saying he's spoiling her fun, and with a mocking smile she calls him Little One, remarking that he's getting more and more cunning. The boy stays composed, neither lunging to attack nor speaking with aggression, and instead gives her credit, saying it's all thanks to her excellent teaching. She pauses, and at last she relents, saying she won't touch the Life Dragon King, but only for as long as the contract holds, and that once he uses his remaining 2 summons, he won't be able to restrain her anymore. He replies instantly that when that moment comes, he'll have enough power to stop her again. The scene then opens with the boy standing firmly where he is, while his 2 comrades remain close at his sides, one to his left and one to his right, his stance steady, yet carrying something subtly wrong. The fire dragon notices it right away and asks what's wrong with him. The boy gives a small shake of his head and answers honestly that it's nothing serious, that he's simply been exhausted lately and keeps getting lost in his thoughts. From behind them, the twin-headed dragon suddenly speaks, directing its question toward Mother as it asks why she is awake. The cloud flow dragon follows with concern, pointing out that her roots haven't absorbed nutrients for a very long time, and warning that if she doesn't rest soon, this secret realm will collapse completely. Mother answers with quiet calm that it doesn't matter right now, because what matters is that she wants to speak with her new companion, the dragon tamer, and then she gently asks him how the exiled dragon has lived its life all these years. The boy pauses, remembering what Muron once told him. The exiled dragon fled far into the outside world, forged a powerful family there, and that family endured for more than a century. He speaks in a softer voice, saying that even now, as that dragon approaches death, it still can't let go of the ones it cared for. At that, the bronze dragon, Jarl Bai Singh, snorts with open disdain, calling it ridiculous as he claims humans only crave the power of dragons and never offer real respect, then angrily pointing at the hatchlings beside the dragon tamer and calling them living proof of enslavement. The mother dragon cuts him off with quiet calm and explains what she truly sees. Whenever the dragon tamer loses focus, the 2 young dragons at his sides immediately grow anxious and worried, and that kind of reaction can't be faked. It's genuine concern, so she believes what he said. Then she tells him she is willing to give him a seed of life, but that it will take time. The boy reacts instantly, anxiety playing as he says the star dragon has no time left and demands to know what exactly they're waiting for, pointing out that the unknown corrupting entities have already swallowed up the canyon outside. The mother dragon falls silent, offering no answer at first. So the fire dragon draws a deep breath and speaks in her place, saying that as the dragon tamer can already see for himself, Life Canyon has been corrupted beyond any hope of survival. Only then does the mother dragon speak again, telling him to witness it with his own eyes, and asking him to touch her branches. As her branches reach toward him, the boy feels a sudden shift and jolts in alarm as his awareness is pulled away. Inside his mind, he understands at once what's happening. These are the Life Dragon King's memories. He sees countless dragons soaring through the canyon, and then a violent eruption of purple fluid explodes into view. Dragons roar in agony as the corrosive substance spreads, its damage so overwhelming it tears through them. All the dragons begin releasing their energy in desperation, trying to fling the purple fluid off, while the mother dragon herself roars and unleashes her power, raising a colossal barrier to block it. Then a light blue energy surges into existence and slams straight into the purple corruption, the two forces colliding and grinding against each other in a brutal struggle. The mother dragon activates a green, lens-like glow, and the boy stares in shock as that power sharpens her vision. And then recognition strikes him like a blow. He knows it. He says it's mascara, and that the power pouring out of that rift is identical to the power of the ancient gods. The mother dragon turns her full attention onto him and asks in a quiet voice whether he recognizes this power, because they have awakened outside the dragon domain as well. The boy nods and confirms it's true. They're called the ancient gods, wielders of annihilation who want to erase all life from existence. The mother dragon speaks with calm weight, explaining that if not for the protection of the crystal dragon kings, they would have been wiped out long ago. The fire dragon continues in a steady, grim tone, explaining that this secret realm itself is a barrier formed from the body of a crystal dragon king, hiding them away and completely isolating them from the corrupted life canyon outside. The boy's thoughts turn heavy as the implication sinks in. The crystal dragon king, meaning the giant dragon he witnessed in the Life Dragon King's memories, must have sacrificed itself to save everyone, and it no longer exists. The fire dragon adds one more piece, voice firm but bleak. Mother has no combat strength left, but she can drive her roots deep into the earth and reshape the land, turning it into an environment where dragons can survive. That is why the survivors in this realm are still breathing at all, kept alive only through Mother's careful, limited infusions of her own life force. And for what the boy can tell, the situation outside the dragon domain is no better. The Cloud Flow Dragon speaks next, saying they've waited for rescue for a long, long time, yet the corruption has only continued to spread, and now it has begun to threaten this secret realm itself. The twin-headed dragon follows with a bitter edge, saying that every dragon who ever left this place to seek help died. Not one returned alive, and they were forced to retrieve every corpse nearby, because if they didn't, the corruption would possess the bodies. The boy finally speaks again, because he understands now. They no longer have the strength to escape. The bronze dragon confirms it bluntly. The exiled dragon has forgotten them. Only 4 root-bound guardians remain. Mother has nowhere left to draw energy from. Her life force is fading, and this realm is already teetering on the edge of collapse. The boy's face hardens as the truth comes into perfect focus. They are powerless against the ancient gods, and if he does nothing, the Life Dragon King will die here. A system notification appears at that moment. Dragon Nation Fire Seed Metal, Legendary Quality Accessory. Effect: increases all attributes of the wearer by 25%. And if that happens, the entire dragon domain will eventually be swallowed by the ancient gods. The boy looks at them and asks directly whether they truly recognize him as a companion. The Cloudflow Dragon answers yes, but asks why he's asking, and the boy doesn't hesitate for even a heartbeat. Then let me help you escape the corruption. The mother dragon studies him carefully and asks whether he truly means to take them away, warning that if the dragon domain falls, the ancient gods will eventually spread their corruption into the human world as well. The boy answers with calm certainty that even if they stay, they won't survive much longer anyway, and he asks whether that assessment is wrong, because this place will be consumed no matter what. But if they come with him, they will live. Then he clasps his hands together with firm resolve and continues, saying he has already slain an ancient god, and that his nation has formally recognized him as a conqueror of ancient gods. Another system screen appears, Godborn Dragon King Armor of the Fallen Mountain rank, and the Cloudflow Dragon senses the aura and reacts in shock. A Dragon King worn his armor. Yet the aura feels strange. The twin-headed dragon adds that it carries the scent of their dragon kind, but also the scent of corruption, a power that feels both familiar and unsettling at the same time. And the wyvern speaks, clearly, explaining that this armor is a dragon king fused with the essence of an ancient god, and that the ancient god he defeated now has its power wielded by him. He continues with confidence, saying that even if the dragon domain becomes completely corrupted, the instant an ancient god awakens he will hunt it down, and that he also has an island territory where they can recover and live in peace, a place that is absolutely safe. The mother dragon watches him in silence for a moment, then answers with a gentle warmth, saying that the way he considers others so carefully makes it no surprise the hatchlings at his side have grown to adore him so completely. And with that, the fire dragon finally speaks up with firm resolve, saying that if that's true, then he wants to ask Mother whether they should go with the dragon tamer. The scene opens inside the Life Canyon dreamscape, where the mother dragon speaks in an even, steady tone, admitting that letting go hurts. But Life Canyon has already been fully eroded. There's nothing left worth clinging to, and this is their last chance to survive, so they're placing all their hope in their companion. After that, our boy and Xiaochan rise into the air together, and our boy gives a small nod as he says it's time to go deeper into the departure, prompting Xiaochan to immediately cast a starry sky warp. A screen flashes in a view showing Star Dragon 3 forms with star radiance, and in the next breath stars begin to tumble down from above, scattering starlight in every direction as the warp activates, forming an open space that becomes a partial rift leading straight to the target location. The portal rift is stated to last 60 seconds, and it's also influenced by magic circles, forbidden spells, and barriers. At the very same time, our boy releases his own energy and triggers a link, tying the target portal directly to his territory teleport. Because territory teleport lets a lord open or close a portal to their territory whenever they want, and more than one territory portal can exist at once. With the connection made, our boy immediately turns toward Shun and urgently tells everyone to hurry and follow him, because they only have 60 seconds left. The scene shifts to the Tianfu Island Shadow Fortress, where a table inside is already laid out under a wide spread of delicious food, and our boy's aunt busies herself arranging dish after dish, as she says this should be enough, adding that it's all the food Xiaofan loves best, because she's going to wait right here for him to come back. Then she sits alone at the table surrounded by the dishes, quietly praying for our boy, until she suddenly stiffens, freezing in place as an odd sound reaches her ears. Outside, the mother dragon lets out a soft laugh and says the air here feels unbelievably fresh, just like their homeland before erosion claimed it, and she sincerely thanks her friend. Beside her, the Cloudflow dragon turns his gaze across the surroundings in open amazement and remarks on how beautiful everything is, while the fire dragon follows by admitting he'll need a bit of time to adjust to a place that actually is water. That's when our boy declares they've arrived, telling them plainly that this is his territory, and from now on, it will be their new home. As they draw nearer to the house, a voice suddenly calls out to our boy, and he stops dead, snapping his head around until his eyes meet his aunt's. He calls back to her, but she can only stare past him at the enormous figures standing behind him, and then she asks what those huge things are, joking that they better not all be his brand new pet dragons. The moment his aunt's joke leaves her mouth, the twin dragons bristle with instant anger, and one of them lashes back in a furious snap, calling her rude and openly offended, insulted that a mere human would dare label them pet dragons and look down on them that way. The other lets out a threatening growl and declares it will eat her, forcing our boy to surge forward at once and put himself in the way as he shouts for her to stop, because she's his aunt, his family, not some enemy to be attacked. His aunt stands there frozen for a heartbeat in sheer shock, then blurts out in disbelief that they can actually talk, and our boy immediately hisses for her to be quiet, warning her not to say anything reckless. He explains quickly that these aren't pet dragons at all, but terrifyingly powerful friends he rescued from somewhere else. And although she keeps staring at him, still stunned, she can only admit that the friends he brings back are getting more and more outrageous every time. Our boy lets out a soft laugh and tells her they really haven't had much contact with humans before, so she needs to brace herself mentally if she's going to get along with them. The bronze dragon speaks up then, sounding plainly relieved as he remarks that this place is overflowing with life, and that the energy here is so rich he can feel the exhaustion from his earlier battles finally draining away. The mother dragon gives a calm nod and says that once she draws enough energy from this land, she'll soon be able to nurture a seed of life and let that exalted dragon be reborn. And with that, she turns her gaze back to our boy and speaks bluntly, pointing out that he didn't bring them to a place this abundant and prosperous for no reason. So she asks him directly what he wants in return. Our boy answers without dodging it. He wants them to remain here and help guard his territory. The mother dragon considers it and nods, saying that's acceptable, that they will stay until she recovers her full strength, and until that day comes, they will protect this territory on his behalf. Our boy adds that he understands he probably can't keep them here forever. Legendary dragons aren't the sort to settle in one spot indefinitely, but if he gives his word, then maybe they'll rethink their wandering ways. Right then, a system notification flashes up, listing Bloodstained Flying Dragon Scare Tree Seed as a quest item and proof that the demon-devouring Dragon King has been slain, followed by another notification updating the quest as Seed of the Flying Dragon Scare Tree and tracking every Bloodstained Flying Dragon Scare Tree seed delivered to the Life Dragon. The mother dragon sucks in a sharp breath, stunned as she realizes he actually killed the demon-devouring Dragon King, and the bronze dragon shouts in exhilaration that our boy has completed the hidden quest she left behind, while the Cloudflow dragon backs it up, saying there's no doubt. This truly is the demon-devouring Dragon King's blood. Our boy cuts in before it can spiral further, explaining that after the War of the Three Dragons, the demon-devouring Dragon King was left gravely wounded, and when he found her in Dragonfall Valley, he seized the chance and finished her off. He adds that it was fortunate he acted when he did, because he could never allow the Life Dragon King to discover she was still alive. The Mother Dragon admits that she had already abandoned hope long ago, never once imagining there could be someone who would actually manage to kill her. Right after that, another system notification appears to confirm the quest progress, showing that the blood-stained flying dragon scare tree seed has been delivered to the Life Dragon King. The Mother Dragon turns back toward our boy, and when she speaks, her voice carries both relief and pride as she tells him he has avenged the children she lost so tragically on the flying dragon's scared tree. Not only did he save the exiled dragon, he also carried out her ancient vengeance, and with feats like that, there's no way he'd be asking for their help merely to make them stay here. So she presses him again, asking what he truly wants. The fire dragon steps forward as well, and adds that as long as it's something they can give or something they can do, they'll help him without hesitation. The bronze dragon nods in agreement, saying he understands now. Our boy has torn the throne of grief and despair out of Mother's heart, so they owe him, and he has earned that repayment, and all they want is for him to remain here in his territory. Then the Mother Dragon looks at our boy with a blend of amusement and admiration, laughing as she calls him a fascinating, clever human. Our boy simply smiles and explains that as a dragon tamer, his purpose is to become friends with dragons. Humans might hunger for a dragon's power, but there are paths to that power other than subjugation or stealing it, because if they become companions, that bond lets him borrow their strength when the moment calls for it. The Mother Dragon is clearly moved, and she admits that after everything he's done for them, they truly have no reason left to refuse him. A system screen pops up, confirming that the seed of the Flying Dragon Scare Tree quest has been completed, and then another screen shows the Life Dragon King along with a ruthless Guardian Dragon settling into the territory, followed by a third announcement stating that the Life Dragon King is taking root, burrowing deep into the earth to anchor herself. During this period, she will enter slumber, she won't be able to move, and she will automatically shift into an absorption state. The Mother Dragon says that for now, they should simply get along happily, and a system notification confirms that the taking root absorption state has been activated. Our boy thinks to himself, impressed that he managed to secure the Life Dragon King and 4 enormous dragons without using any contracts at all, and he reflects that the hidden quest Xiao Fei picked up back then ended up letting him gain 5 powerful dragons in one sweep. He looks around, startled to realize he's already healed, and the Cloudflow Dragon explains that while Mother is taking root, she will sleep while continuously absorbing energy and releasing a life aura at the same time, and that aura can heal, and can even grant experience points. Our boy is stunned and asks if he heard that correctly, because does that mean they can level up just by staying close to the Life Dragon King? The Bronze Dragon gives a confirming nod and says yes, that's right, though Mother's life force is still weak at the moment, so in about a month they can probably only gain 7 or 8 levels at most. Our boy breaks into a grin, genuinely amazed, because this is basically leveling up while lying down, and in his mind he can already see it. Everyone kicking back, soaking in the hot springs, taking in the sea view, while the dragons handle the territory like it's nothing, the kind of luxury countless people could only fantasize about. The twin dragons add that even if this pace might feel a little slow for class changers, it'll be much quicker for the ferocious beasts on the island, since those monsters are already around level 90, and Mother will soon be able to push them up to level 100. Our boy's eyes go wide at that, and he blurts out in disbelief, asking if even the beasts can level up too, and the dragons just laugh. One of them even tosses out a teasing joke to provoke him, and our boy shoots back a sharp glare. Then the fire dragon announces he's realized the water here isn't ordinary at all, and that it can actually boost several of his stats, prompting our boy to yell at him to get out of the water, joking that he'd been the one claiming he couldn't stand water, yet he nearly boiled the hot spring dry. The fire dragon grins right back and calls him stingy, reminding him that he'd just been talking about friends and companions. Meanwhile, our boy's gaze shifts to the Mother Dragon, who is spreading her green energy throughout the territory, and it clicks for him that what she's releasing is the Seed of Life that will save the Star Dragon. A system screen appears at once. Seed of Life, Phase 1, Legendary, Consumable. Our boy launches up into the sky, thinking that the Life Dragon King needs time to absorb enough energy before the seed can truly finish forming. But then, without warning, a surge of green energy erupts above his head, and the Bronze Dragon speaks up, saying that Mother trusts him, and they do too. Yet when it comes to the Seed of Life, they have to set down some rules on her behalf before anything goes further. The scene opens on Tianfu Island, with our boy standing there and talking about establishing rules, trying to get everything sorted out, while on the other side the Cloudflow Dragon begins laying out what really matters. The Seed of Life is created from Mother's own flesh and blood, and only one seed can be produced each year, and when it first comes into existence it enters the first stage, and in that stage it carries the power of rebirth, essentially granting someone a second life. The moment he hears that, our boy immediately asks whether that means there's a second stage as well, And the fire dragon nods as he explains that yes, there is, because as the seed of life continues to grow, it advances into the second stage, and once it reaches that point, it gains the ability to nurture new brothers and sisters who will eventually hatch into life. Our boy looks openly shaken by that, and asks if that means every one of them was born from the same seed. And the Cloud Flow Dragon confirms it, explaining that before the Dragon Realm was corrupted, their mother had 237 children, but now only the 4 of them remain. The corruption prevented Mother from absorbing energy, and because of that, no new dragons could be born. Hearing all of this, our boy starts piecing it together in his head. So the seed of life is basically the Dragon King of life's dragon egg. He never would have guessed that his own territory could produce a dragon egg every single year. And the moment that sinks in, his mind races. If he simply lets it grow with time, wouldn't he be able to cultivate an entire legion of dragons? A thought so absurd it feels almost unreal to him. But before that idea can go any further, the bronze dragon suddenly shouts that they won't outright forbid him from harvesting the seed, yet at least 1 year, or even 10 years, must be left untouched so that new rootless dragons can be born. And our boy immediately reassures them he understands, telling them not to worry because he also wants the dragon race to prosper, and unless it becomes absolutely necessary, he won't harvest the seeds. The bronze dragon perks up, clearly pleased, and says good, then tells him he can take this particular seed to feed the exiled dragon who has been waiting, and our boy wastes no time, grabbing the seed at once. Right after that, a screen flashes in front of him confirming he has obtained the seed of life, first stage, followed by another screen displaying his current progress and listing the seed of life he's obtained one by one. And seeing that, our boy thinks the Star Dragon's quest can finally be completed now. The Fire Dragon immediately urges him to hurry, explaining that their mother's life force is extremely weak and the seeds will wither in less than 3 days. And in the midst of that, someone remarks that the spring water is incredible and tells everyone to try some, making our boy react on instinct as he demands to know why they're drinking it again, snapping that they should go drink seawater instead and stop running the hot spring dry. At that moment, someone from the previous loft looks stunned and asks who that person is, and another voice answers by calling out to Lu Fan, demanding to know if he still remembers them. They accuse him of stealing Sakura Nation's dragon, and even killing their Yamada no Orochi, and they warn him he shouldn't have thought they would fail to find him, even if it meant chasing him all the way to the ends of the earth. Then, without warning, a black beast with glowing red eyes emerges, stepping forward as it fixes its stares squarely on our boy, and our boy is plainly caught off guard. But instead of retreating, he narrows his eyes and glares straight back at the red-eyed creature, and in an instant the air turns thick with pressure. Immediately after, the black beast's identity is revealed. YNMZI, level 191, a 119 on Myoji. The red-eyed beast speaks with smug confidence, declaring that now, with his master and the 4 major clan leaders supporting him, our boy is basically finished. He sneers at him, asking what's wrong and whether he's scared, then goes even further and mocks him for being so terrified he can't even answer. Our boy draws a slow, steady breath and responds with calm contempt, saying Yin's skill is honestly garbage, because all he can do is project his voice. He can't even see him. Only for Yin to reply coldly that sending his voice is already more than enough, since he doesn't even want to look at that disgusting face anyway. Our boy suddenly raises his voice and rockets straight up into the sky, calling him out loud and clear, asking if he's here for revenge, and if not, then to stop wasting his time. Yin's red eyes flare even brighter as he breaks into laughter, saying our boy is still just as arrogant as ever. But fine, he'll speak plainly. Our boy killed his Shikigami and stole the dragon, so his master, In Tianzi, will personally lead the 4 major clan leaders to demand an explanation, and in 3 days they'll arrive at his current location. If he has the guts, he can try running, but wherever he goes, they'll hunt him down and find him. Our boy doesn't so much as blink, only staring back and casually asking if that's all, reminding Ian that last time he survived solely because he ran fast enough, and warning that this time, whether it's his master or any so-called big shot, he'd better bring them all. The beast answers that Yin's master and the 4 clan leaders have already reached the 5th turn, and if our boy wants to stay alive, then he should hand over his dragon pet right now. The instant he hears that, our boy gathers his power and lunges in, trying to drive a punch into the beast, but the beast's voice rings out again, cool and taunting, reminding him that he has only 3 days to think through how he plans to face them, and our boy merely replies that he'll be waiting. The scene cuts to the Sakura Nation, inside Tianfu Palace, where the slave is shouting in furious rage, livid over how everything has gone since returning to Sakura Nation, screaming that Luo Fan dared to interrupt his ultimatum, and swearing he wants him dead, so dead there won't even be a corpse left behind. While he's still throwing his tantrum, another voice slices through it, sharp and cold, calling him a disgraceful fool and ordering him that it's enough. And the moment his master steps out, the slave collapses to his knees at once, bowing low and crying out to his master. His master stands there with purple energy coiling around his body, and with calm arrogance he remarks that young people who gain power beyond their limits tend to grow arrogant, that he's seen countless examples, and that once fifth-term professionals are standing in front of someone like Luo Fan, that person will naturally learn humility. A screen appears, displaying Yin Tianzi, level 130, Lord of Tianfu Palace. The slave crawls along the floor and agrees eagerly, claiming that once the master arrives together with the 4 fifth-turn clan leaders, all the dragon pets will belong to him. But the Lord of Sakura Nation answers coolly that when the time comes, he'd better watch his manners in front of the clan leaders and not bring him shame. And as they move out of the hall, Yin explains that bringing the 4 noble clan leaders is mainly meant to probe the situation in Taichi Nation, because if the 10 clans supporting Taichi Nation don't respond, they'll erase Taichi Nation in a single strike, and, as for avenging the slave, that's merely something they'll deal with along the way. What everyone actually cares about, he makes clear, is how the dragon pets will be divided afterward, because the slave himself isn't worth much at all, and the one truly capable of commanding Tianfu Palace along with the 4 noble clan leaders is him. The slave hurriedly nods, saying he understands, and the master follows by stressing that this entire trip is a covert operation, so secret that even the king knows nothing about it, then orders the slave to keep his mouth shut, prompting the slave to bow flat to the floor at once, repeating yes again and again. Once the master is gone, the slave starts laughing to himself, thinking privately that his master's real power is even greater than the king's, and at this time they won't merely kill Luo Fan and seize the dragon pets, but will also crush Taichi Nation and expand their territory. So in his mind, everything is lining up perfectly. The scene cuts back to our boy and the dragons, and one of the twin dragons remarks offhandedly that Ian sounds like an idiot and suggests they should just kill him, while the other chimes in even more bluntly, saying he misses the taste of human flesh. The fire dragon, though, speaks with more restraint, saying that if the enemy is coming, they can all help their dragon Tamer. And our boy looks genuinely surprised as the fire dragon continues, explaining that as his companions, they will appear whenever he needs them. A screen pops up displaying Flame, Giant Dragon. Our boy asks whether they still intend to leave after all of this, and another screen appears showing Flying Cloud Giant Dragon Scale. The Cloud Flow Dragon explains that they plan to roam the world in search of other outland dragons scattered across it, gathering them together and preparing to resist the corruption of the dragon domain, while the Bronze Dragon adds that they won't stay on this island forever. Yet, whenever our boy needs them, they can teleport to his side instantly. The twin dragons jump in again too, saying that in 3 days they'll come help, and whether our boy can handle the enemies or not, they're definitely going to eat them. And in the end our boy gives a final nod and says fine. He'll accept it. A screen flashes up showing obtained Flame Giant Dragon Scale 1, and then again obtained Flame Giant Dragon Scale 1. Our boy thinks to himself that with proof like this, he can summon 4 giant dragons, and even if they aren't on the demon-devouring Dragon King's level, at least he won't have to constantly worry about being betrayed at any moment. And honestly, a 3-day death ultimatum almost sounds interesting. Still, before that confrontation arrives, he needs to head back to the western region first to finish the 3rd giant dragon's quest. The next morning, the scene opens in the western region of the Yi residence, where Yi stares at our boy in utter disbelief and says it's honestly unbelievable. He went off to help the Murong family, and somehow returned with the dragon mother and 4 giant dragons. Then she adds that at this rate, his territory is practically about to become a full-blown dragon pet hatchery. Our boy stays unruffled, lifting his teacup for an unhurried sip as he tells you not to make it sound so exaggerated, because a seed of life takes a very long time to hatch into a dragon, so it's nowhere near as instant or dramatic as she's making it out to be. Then his face tightens and turns serious, and he asks her directly whether, while he was gone, the Ning family or the Luo family caused her any trouble. Yi answers evenly, saying she nearly forgot to bring up the Ning family. Ever since the Divine Ruin's Secret Realm incident, Ning Shuang has been coming here repeatedly looking for him. Our boy blinks in surprise and mutters that she's really relentless, then asks about the Murong family, wondering if they would truly just sit back and watch Ning Shuang throw tantrums like that. Yi explains that it isn't really fair to blame the Murong family in this case, because the main issue is that Ning Shuang always comes alone, only asks for him, and if she can't find him, she simply leaves. It doesn't look like she's here to take revenge at all, so Yi didn't even think it was necessary to inform Murong Shang. They're still talking when a loud voice suddenly rings out from outside, shouting for Lu Fan to come out and see her, and he immediately inhales sharply and mutters that speak of the devil, and the devil appears, because Ning Shuang is here again. Our boy looks startled as the scene shifts outdoors, where Ning Shuang stands her ground with a straight, unwavering posture, loudly declaring that she knows he's back and ordering him to come out, even shouting that if he doesn't show himself today, she's not leaving. Our boy finally steps out and tries to settle her down, calling out that it really is Ning Shuang, but she flares up instantly, snapping at him not to pretend he doesn't know her, and saying he finally decided to come out and see her. Outside the mansion, our boy takes in her outfit and tosses out a casual tease, saying she's dressed like that as if she's here to seek revenge, and that anyone who didn't know better would assume she's desperate to marry him instead. Ning Shuang pauses, And in that brief silence her expression turns complicated, tangled with emotion, before she answers yes. That's right, she came to marry him. And she stands there firm, refusing to retreat. Our boy immediately shouts back, demanding to know if she's lost her mind, accusing her of trying to extort him because she can't beat him, then blaming her outright, saying it's because of her that he's lost the trust of both the Ning family and the Luo family. Ningguang doesn't avert her gaze for a second as she tells him he has to take responsibility for her. And from where she's watching the whole scene unfold at the Yi residence, sister, he can only sigh and remark that she's witnessed forced marriages before, but someone threatening their own life right on their own doorstep is truly a first. Our boy reacts fast, lifting both hands as he tells her not to misunderstand him, because he didn't do anything at all. But Ningguang refuses to yield. She fires back that he wants to claim no responsibility, yet he already ruined everything she had and now he's acting like there's nothing between them. Then she calls him Luo fan and says he has only two options. Either he takes responsibility for her, or he kills her. And the instant those words leave her mouth, she draws a knife and presses the blade against her own throat. Sister Yi mutters under her breath that she used to think the two of them just had a rough time together in the secret realm. But looking at this now, it's clearly far more complicated than that. Our boy is caught between anxiety and irritation, and in his heart he keeps repeating that it isn't like that at all, that there is absolutely nothing between him and Ningguang. Yet Ningguang only tightens her grip on the knife and warns that if she dies here, he'd better think carefully about how the Yi family is supposed to explain it to the Ning family. Our boy snaps back at once, telling her to get lost, and that if she wants to die, then she shouldn't do it at the Yi residence. Sister Yi just shakes her head and points out that the Ning family's eldest young miss has always been proud, and now she's even throwing away her dignity for him. So how is anyone supposed to believe that nothing happened between them? Our boy drags a hand over his forehead and says this mess can't be cleared up in a few words, and the more they argue, the uglier it will become, then adds that he still has proper business to handle for the Morong family first, and he'll deal with this situation later. Sister Yi only shrugs and tells him to do whatever he wants. Not wasting another second, our boy spreads his wings, energy rippling outward as he shoots up into the sky. And as he flies off, he can't help thinking how completely ridiculous this is. He decides he'll let her cool down for now and smooth it over after he comes back. But Ningguang still won't let go. She sprints after him and yells that he won't escape from this. The scene shifts to the Murong residence in the western region's Red Peak mountain range, where our boy drops to the ground with a solid landing, and the swirling energy around him gradually settles. Head leader Bai approaches to greet him, saying Mr. Lu Fan has finally returned, and Murong immediately asks how things went in the dragon domain, to which our boy answers calmly that it's been taken care of. Murong quickly invites him inside, explaining that the ancestor has been waiting for news, and he warns the guards that this is the Murong family residence, and no outsiders are to be allowed in without an invitation. Right then, Ningguang appears at the gates, and the soldiers instantly raise their bows and aim arrows at her, but she stands there without a hint of fear and declares with full confidence that she is Lu Fan's wife, and that she's with him. Murong looks completely baffled and points out that not long ago, in the Divine Ruins, the two of them were practically trying to kill each other. So what in the world is going on now? Our boy stares at Ningguang's back, lets out a long, slow breath, and admits he doesn't understand it either. But one thing is certain, she is absolutely not his wife. Murong gives a short nod and immediately orders the doors closed, and Ningguang erupts in fury outside, shouting that he's trying to shake her off and warning Lu Fan to keep dreaming if he thinks that will work. Our boy only feels more irritated by her outburst, but he refuses to engage and simply heads inside. And once they reach the main hall, he turns respectful at once, addressing the ancestor properly before shifting his gaze toward the Star Dragon. Murong reports to the ancestor that Mr. Lu Fan has returned safely and has brought the item they requested, and our boy raises his hand to present it, saying plainly, "Here, it's the seed of life you wanted." The Star Dragon studies the seed for only a moment before his expression changes, because he immediately senses something wrong. He says the vitality inside feels extremely weak, and with visible anxiety, he asks whether something happened to his mother. Our boy answers without sugarcoating it, saying the Valley of Life no longer exists, and the words hit like a blow. Head Murong looks stunned. Murong himself stares in disbelief, and the Star Dragon reacts the strongest of all, shouting and demanding to know what he just said. So our boy starts laying it all out. By the time he arrived, the valley was already nothing but wasteland, and the Life Dragon King along with the 4 remaining dragons had been trapped inside a secret realm. Beyond that realm, the entire world was crawling with monsters that can't be killed because they regenerate endlessly, and even the dragons that have already fallen have been corrupted by those same creatures. He goes on, saying the root of the chaos is something akin to an ancient god, and that ancient god has already awakened. The instant the Star Dragon hears the words ancient god, he shouts in shock, and a powerful yet unstable energy bursts outward from him, low and heavy, filling the whole space with suffocating pressure. The scene opens at the Murong residence in the western region, inside the Star Tomb, where the Murong clan head looks down at the Seed of Life and asks whether it can still grant the ancestor a second life. The Star Dragon answers with forced calm, explaining that even though a large portion of the vitality has already been lost, the seed is still enough to let him be reborn. However, he adds that once reborn, he'll recover only 8% of his original strength and attributes, and the remaining power will require 10 full years to slowly return. The clan head answers at once that as long as the ancestor can live another life, nothing else matters. Without the slightest hesitation, the Star Dragon takes the Seed of Life and swallows it whole in a single gulp. And the moment it goes down, energy begins surging out from his body, the power climbing higher and higher in wave after wave as a deep blue light spreads across everything, growing darker, thicker, and more intense by the second. In the middle of that transformation, the Star Dragon suddenly calls out to our boy, telling the Dragon Tamer to summon his Star Dragon, and our boy responds instantly by raising his hand as a ring of blue light appears in midair, circling, spinning, and flowing forward as it glides toward the Star Dragon, standing behind him. Once the energy steadies, the Star Dragon points toward the other dragon and says that this is the reward they agreed upon. A system screen immediately flashes up. Star Radiance form strength increased from 500% to 1000%, transforming into the Star Ripper for 60 seconds. The Star Dragon's aura keeps rolling outward in heavy, forceful waves, and then another screen appears, displaying 13 million heavenly stars, World Annihilation, and 39 million heavenly stars. World Annihilation summons the Star Core. Our boy watches with unmistakable excitement and says this is exactly what you'd expect from a Dragon King level skill. And right after that, another system screen confirms. Quest completed. Commission of the Star Giant Dragon. Quest reward. Your dragon pet of the same Star Dragon lineage gains the power of the Star Giant Dragon. Murong and the others look overjoyed as the entire rebirth finally reaches its end. And once it's done, the Star Dragon clears his throat and addresses our boy with respect, calling him benefactor, then says he has one last request. He wants our boy to return to his territory and pay respects to his mother, the Life Dragon King. Murong immediately asks if that means he's leaving this place. In that moment, our boy thinks privately about warning both the Star Giant Dragon and the Murong family that Sakura Nation will strike Tianfu Island in 3 days. And although the Murong family expresses that they're willing to help him, he chooses to refuse their kindness, believing this fight shouldn't pull even more people into danger. Before he goes, he promises the Murong family that after he meets the Life Dragon King, he will safely return the Star Giant Dragon. With everything settled, our boy takes out the adventurer's notebook he obtained in the Divine Ruins secret realm, quietly flipping through it as he prepares himself, calm and steady, while he waits for the enemy to come knocking. Then the scene shifts back to Tianfu Island, inside the Shadow Fortress leisure area, where Taozi comes rushing up to him with her phone in hand, her face tight with worry, as she tells him there's huge trouble because the headlines have just exploded. Our boy takes the phone from her and reads the headlines carefully, and after taking it all in, he points at the screen and says that with a lineup that massive, there's no way they came only for him. They probably plan to pressure the neighboring forces too, so they can swallow Taichi Nation in a single move without shedding even one drop of blood. Taozi keeps staring at the phone, visibly tense, while our boy continues in even tone, saying that since they came for him, he'll make sure they get an experience they'll never forget for the rest of their lives. The scene shifts to the Black Sand Sea, Sector 3, and one day later the enemy's strongest forces are already assembled there, their mere presence pressing down like a physical weight. The slave approaches his master to report that up ahead lies the endpoint marked by the resentment of Yamada no Orochi, and according to that mark, Lu Fan should be there. Yin, red eyes glowing, stares into the distance and declares that this is the endpoint of the marked dragon Tamer, that there's nowhere left for him to retreat, and that the dragons will inevitably end up in his hands. The scene cuts back to our boy, who stands before a projector and faces a massive screen, coolly remarking that it looks like their distinguished guests are already in position. He zooms out for a wider view, and in the next instant a flash of black energy streaks across the display, while outside the electric lights begin to flicker and drop out one by one. Someone shouts that it's lightning, that thunder shots are incoming, and there's far too much of it, and the thunder blasts spread with violent force, striking down and killing people, until another voice yells that seawater is surging in and orders everyone to seal the hatches. All vessels are commanded to activate the fleet's combined shield and drive power output to the absolute maximum. And the urgent order to repeat maximum output echoes again and again. Back in our boy's office, Taozi blurts out in surprise that the attack was actually blocked, but our boy stays composed and tells her not to get ahead of herself, because this is only the appetizer. The scene shifts back to Yin's army, now battered hard by the storm. Boats are trapped in raging waters, some vessels go under, and soldiers fight desperately just to make it to the riverbank alive. The slave rushes to his master to report that the storm and lightning caused around 40 deaths, mostly among third-turn professionals and below, while their core combat strength remains intact, and Master Ian remarks that for a kid to hold a place like this, he clearly has some ability. Then the Master God gestures forward and orders them to keep advancing. The scene cuts back to our boy, who calmly tweaks the display and refreshes the screen, watching the situation unfold in real time, while Yan's army presses onward despite their obvious nerve from the thunder, lightning, and violent storm. One of the stronger subordinates warns that the fog feels extremely sinister and suggests they proceed carefully, testing what's real and what isn't, only for the Master to answer with icy certainty that they should reveal everything, because the more extraordinary and mysterious this territory is, the more valuable it will be once it becomes his. Before long, soldiers begin screaming and sobbing, and some collapse onto the ground, crawling and begging as they shout that the fog is poisonous and their life force is being drained away, forcing the Master to spread a ring of green energy outward as he casts a healing spell to cleanse the area, the green light rolling toward the soldiers in waves. A system screen flashes up, showing life resonance, stating that centered on the caster it releases 3 expanding healing waves within an 8th master radius. The soldiers feel the relief immediately, exchanging surprised looks as the pressure in their bodies eases. But the moment they start to relax, a white strike whips toward them, and one man's head drops on the spot. The rest stiffen in horror, and then, one after another, they begin to fall as unseen attacks slice them down. Someone screams that they're under attack, yet they can't even tell where the enemy is, and, as the seconds drag on, more and more soldiers are carved apart and sent to the ground. The Uroboro moon appears and remarks that this is a rather interesting welcoming ceremony, adding that they're waiting for them to panic, aren't they? While the Uroboro god snaps angrily that the fog is eroding their energy, and that there's no way this is a naturally formed phenomenon. A level 80 shadow swordsman raises his blade, readying himself to strike, and the Master orders them to use illuminate, to flood the area with light and disperse the fog. Another screen pops up showing Bone Wrinkle of the Netherworld, explaining that if hostile line targeting or spiritual disturbance occurs within a 100-meter radius of the wearer, it will trigger a response. The Master shouts into the unseen space toward the hidden dragon Tamer, accusing him of doing nothing but playing tricks and telling him to come out. Another system screen appears for Illuminate, describing that once activated it produces a powerful light effect capable of quickly dispelling all intermediate or lower illusions. And back at his base, our boy lets a faint smile tug at his lips as he tells everyone to get ready and enjoy the meticulously arranged performance. The scene opens on Shadow Island at the edge of a ruined city, where the Shadow Swordsman and another fighter wielding the Eye of Thunder are already locked in battle, striking from different angles. One of them yells at the concealed enemies, calling them hiding rats and ordering them to come out, then activates Eye of Thunder as electricity crackles through the air and his vision sharpens, while at the same time the Shadow Swordsman whips his blade through flashing arcs and pivots toward a beast lurking nearby. The man steps in and finishes the creature with a single decisive blow. A system screen appears showing earth-shattering cleave, describing how a heavy sword swing smashes the ground and sends a forward propagating shockwave that damages enemies in its path and briefly knocks them back. Not far away, Uroboro comments that this feels like playing hide-and-seek, but unfortunately for them, he always knows which cave the ghost is hiding behind, and another screen appears showing Shadow Arrow, heart-piercing, stating that it fires arrows wrapped in shadow energy to deal massive physical damage to a single target. Around Master Ian, his strongest subordinates hold their ground and swiftly wipe out the Shadow Swordsman and the nearby threats, while back at base our boy watches it all on the giant screen, calm yet sharply attentive. Then, all at once, a man dressed in white steps forward on the battlefield, and as he spreads green energy outward in every direction, soldiers caught inside it start collapsing where they stand, dying one after another. A system notification flashes up, describing Illuminate as a skill burst that releases an intense light effect capable of dispelling or suppressing all mid-tier and below illusions, instability, shadow effects, and shadow concealment. Master Ian immediately shouts that this place isn't suited for a drawn-out fight, ordering every unit to charge straight toward the ancient city and end the battle quickly. And at his command the troops pull themselves together, regroup, and begin sprinting toward the next city exactly as instructed. When they reach it, Master Ian speaks with icy certainty, declaring that no matter how deeply the enemy tries to hide, it won't change the truth that they're nothing but turtles trapped in a jar. At that precise moment, our boy's voice rolls across the battlefield as he channels energy through the screen interface, calmly remarking that they arrived later than expected and welcoming them all to his hunting ground, and in the blink of an eye energy surges throughout the entire area as the army, still standing in formation, whips their heads around in shock and begins taking hits from every direction at once. A screen pops up listing Shadow Death Sentinel level 95, Shadow Death Sentinel level 90, and Shadow Soul Executioner level 85, and as Yin's forces turn to face the sudden threat, thunder and lightning slam down from overhead while Shadow Dragons, Shadow Earth constructs, and Shadow Souls materialize and start cutting the soldiers apart one by one. The battlefield devolves into chaos, filled with screaming and crying as bodies drop, and then yet another shadow entity rises into view, spreading a broad ring of purple energy outward. Anyone caught in that ring starts shrieking as their bodies weaken, and then they collapse into death. On the other side of the field, one of Yin's strongest men stares at the shadows with burning fury, swearing in his heart that he'll dig out every last one of these insects and crush them one by one, and without any hesitation, he transforms into his giant form, his body swelling larger and larger as overwhelming force pours off him, clearly intending to flip the entire battle through raw strength alone. Energy then erupts from that top warrior on Yin's side as he activates Thousand Birds' Thunder Domain, and a blinding light detonates from his body and spreads rapidly across the battlefield. A system screen appears for Thousand Birds' Thunder Domain, explaining that it instantly weaves a three-dimensional spiderweb of high-density lightning through a special airspace within a 100-meter radius, dealing 200% lightning attribute magic damage per second to all flying units inside, until lightning saturates the sky like a lethal cage. Right then, a heavy shadow dragon, General, level 95, charges straight at him, and the man gathers power into his hands and shouts at the dragon to stop playing tricks as he fires his force toward it. But the dragon doesn't retreat. Instead, it swallows the lightning and keeps driving forward. Back in the command center, our boy watches closely and remarks that a fifth-turn expert is personally clearing trash mobs. So this must be Sakura Nation's trump card rushing out to stabilize the field, and then he taps the screen and triggers something else. A notification appears. Target locked. Mana Crystal Cannon sequence ready. Followed by another screen confirming Mana Crystal Cannon charged to 100%, and the instant it hits full charge, massive fire-heavy bombs roar out toward Yin's army, detonating in overwhelming chains of explosions that hurl soldiers into the air as fiery shockwaves ripple outward, the heat and destructive force turning brutally savage in an instant. Even head leader Yin is visibly stunned, and with a scoffing disbelief, he says that kind of power is probably already on par with epic-tier weaponry. When a blazing fireball shoots straight for Yin's strongest warrior, the man stares at it in shock and blurts out how Lu Fan could possibly have a Mana Crystal Cannon, wondering why Snow Nation's military equipment is in his hands at all. He hurriedly gathers blue energy and tries to counterattack the dragon again. Yet the moment he moves, he's slammed back by a fierce counter, blood spraying from his mouth as the impact forces him to stagger backward. The star dragon lets out a thunderous roar, and in the next instant another barrage of fireballs rains down toward that man. He cries out as multiple blazing spheres streak directly for his position, and head leader Yin and the others can only watch in horror as their second brother is erased completely, so thoroughly that not even a scrap of remains is left behind. Master Yin reacts at once, barking an order for Ashita to deploy Fearless Shield and commanding everyone to tighten their formation, and Ashita activates the artifact-grade shield as a system screen appears. Fearless Shield, stating that using the artifact-grade shield as the core, it unfolds into a hemispherical fearless field with a maximum radius of 50 meters. And while that field exists, it will protect all friendly units inside. Another screen shows Fearless Shield durability, 10,000 out of 10,000. But soon another update follows. Fearless Shield durability, 8,821 out of 10,000. Back on Tianfu Island. Level 2 territory. Area 43,800 kilometers. Location Black Sand Sea Sector 3. Our boy triggers Auto Sky, Thunderburst, and golden energy descends from the heavens like divine punishment, slamming down onto the battlefield as the shield's durability plunges again to 6135. The man holding the shield braces with everything he has, trying to cover himself and endure the crushing golden force while he screams for everyone to hold the line, yet the golden energy keeps pressing down without mercy, and the screen shows Fearless Shield durability, 4135. Then it drops again to 2135, until the light swells even harsher and the shield finally shatters outright, the barrier breaking into fragments as it collapses. With the defense gone, the golden radiance floods straight into Yin's ranks, scorching everything it touches, and the strongest survivors begin retreating in frantic panic as Yin himself turns and tries to flee the advancing brilliance, shouting that they can't hold it and have to get back to the flagship to activate teleportation. One of the top fighters who's running gets swallowed by flames, and while he burns he cries out to his master, confessing that his disciple is incompetent, and in the final moments the golden light reaches its absolute peak, sweeping across the battlefield and burning nearly everyone there down to bare skeletons until death blankets the entire field. In the end, only Master Yin and a handful of his closest comrades remain alive. The slave stares across the wreckage and reports bitterly that they're all dead, but the people of the four houses have been almost completely wiped out, and says it feels like they all became actors inside Lu Fan's script, while Orobro stands there in silence. Master Yin finally speaks, his voice low, cold, and heavy, calling it a brilliant scheme, because he cannot believe a mere level 70 dragon tamer could possess the means to flip heaven and earth and bury centuries of Sakura Nation's accumulated heritage. Another survivor snarls that this hatred must be repaid with blood, and Master Ian raises his voice until it echoes across the sky as he orders every remaining unit to launch a full-force assault, declaring they will seize victory no matter the cost.